Hello students, today we are going to discuss Statistics Chapter 1, Concept of Economics and Significance of Statistics in Economics. In this chapter, we are going to discuss regarding the subject matter of statistics and its usefulness in understanding and analyzing the problems which are arising out of economic activities of man. And also we'll discuss about the introductory discussion of the concept of economics, followed by a brief discussion of the meaning and scope of statistics. It concludes with a comprehensive view of the importance of statistics, why statistics is studied in economics. So all these topics we will discuss in detail here. Introduction is given that statistics means what? Numerical descriptions to most people. The purpose of statistics to manipulate, summarize and investigate data so that useful decision making information results. Statistics is a set of decision making techniques which aids businessmen in drawing inference from the available data. So it helps to uh, find out, it helps to make data, and which data, that data will help the businessmen to run their business. They are able to compare their profit, loss, whatever. In so many fields, the statistics is very useful. So we will discuss in our next slides, means our next slides, that how statistics plays a very important role in our day-to-day life. Now first we will discuss about the definition of economics. So here Alfred Marshall has given his definition. Alfred Marshall, a great propounder of modern economics, defines economics as the study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. He told that economics is it is the study of mankind in their day-to-day activity. Capital is that part of wealth which is devoted to obtaining further wealth. Who told this? A great economist, Alfred Marshall. Economic is the study of how people and society chose to employ scarce resources that could have alternative uses in order to produce various commodities that satisfy their wants and to distribute them for consumption among various persons and groups in society. So, three main pillars of the economics, that is the consumption, production and distribution. Now here in this definition, it covered all the three main pillars. Economic is what? It is a study of how people and society chose to employ scarce resources. Resources are very scarce and people's demands are unlimited. So how we allocate this, how we can use these scarce resources in an alternative way that could have alternative use of that scarce resources in order to produce various commodities, different commodities, how we are using the scarce resources which satisfy their human beings wants, and to how we will distribute them for consumption among various persons in groups in society. So this is a detailed definition of economics. I hope you all are getting it now. Next, now ordinary business of life. Economic is a study of mankind in the ordinary business of life. It is a study of mankind in the day-to-day business of life of the common people, individual and social life. Actions which are closely connected with the use of the material requirement. Individual and social life action, whatever we are taking this, which are connected with the use of material required day to day, what our needs are there. We have to fulfill this, we have to survive our life and we have to fulfill that our needs for surviving our life. It is connected to that. And any activity undertaken for monetary purpose is termed by economists as the ordinary business of life. Now, economists told this, that what is the ordinary business of life? The day-to-day activity which undertaken for the monetary purpose, to earn money. Monetary purpose means what? To earn money. So we are using that activity, they termed economics termed this as an ordinary business of life. Now we will discuss first what is the economic activity and what is non-economic activity. So here economic activities means what? Different types of people are engaged in different types of activities. As we will take example of doctor, teachers, lawyers, businessmen, industrialists, etc. So many are there. So everyone is busy in one or the other type of activity to earn money or wealth to satisfy his wants. So the activity which is related to the use of scarce resources is called the economic activity. The activity which is related to the use of scarce resources is called an economic activity. So I hope you all are getting it, the definition of the economic activity. And non-economic activity is what? It is the activity it is the non-economic activities are those activities which are not connected with money, right? So this type of activities are known as non-economic activities. So now we will discuss about the basic terms. Now, whom we call consumer, what is consumption, who is producer, what is productions. Also, all these are the basic terms we are going to discuss in this slide. So first we will see consumer. A person who purchases goods and services for personal use is called consumer. Now producer. A person who produces goods like manufacturer called producer. Now seller, a person who sells goods or services to make a profit. So like we'll take example of here is shopkeeper, what we call the seller. Next, saving, a part of the income which is not consumed is known as saving. Next, investment. And investment is, what is investment now? An investment is the purchase of goods that are not consumed today but are used in the future to create wealth. So this type of this type of money is known as investment. Next, service holder, a person who is in job to earn wages or salary. That type of holder is known as service holder. Next, service provider, a person who provides services for a payment is known as service provider. And last is economic activities. Already we had discussed this in our previous slide. Any activity undertaken for a monetary gain, for a monetary reason, this type of activity is known as economic activity. So one more time I will explain all these basic terms, so you listen it carefully. So now here, a person who consumes goods and services for satisfaction of his wants is known as consumer. The person who consumes goods for satisfying his wants, this type of person is known as consumer because he is consuming goods to satisfy his wants. Next, a person who produces and or sell goods and services for the generation of income is known as producer or a manufacturer. Next, a person who is in a job to earn either wages or salary to buy goods is known as service holder. Next, a person who provides services to society to earn money, that is, like we will take example here, doctor, lawyer, teacher or banker, etc., is known as service provider. They are providing services to the society. So what we call this? Service provider, a person who provides services for a payment. Against this they are getting payment. So like this person are known as service provider. And the service holder, a person who is in a job to earn wages or salary, that person is known as service holder. So all these are the very important basic terms of this chapter. Now, what is economic problems? Economic problems are the problems of choice or of allocating scarce resources to other uses due to scarcity of resources. These resources have alternative uses, which is why the problem of choice arising. Now, this is a very important term. What is economic problem? Now how this economic problem arises, as you know that our resources are scarce means they are very short availability of resources is there, and our demands are, as compared to availability of resources, our demand are very much that high. Our demand are more as compared to resources. So how these scarce resources are allocating among the society, among the people of the society. So, and these scarce resources to other uses due to scarcity of resources, these resources have alternate uses. Now whatever the resources, scarce resources are available, they are in limited quantity, and how we will use alternatively to satisfy our want, and which is why this problem of choice arises. Because of this problem of choice arises. So what is the meaning of scarcity here? Scarcity is the shortage of resources, right? So resources are always scarce in relation to our wants. Whatever our wants are there, as compared to this, our resources are limited, right? Scarce. A 10, suppose we are taking here one example, a 10 rupee note in your pocket may be spent on a cup of coffee or a cold drink, right? You will spend this 10 rupees either a cup of coffee or to purchase a cold drink. Likewise, a worker, one worker is having choice. Worker may render his services in a factory A rather than B or C. It's depend on him, right? Because resources are scarce and have alternative uses. We cannot escape from the problem of allocation of limited means to alternative uses. That this is what we call economic problem or the problem of choice. So here what we got, what we are that getting this from this, that it is the problem. What is economic problem? Economic problem is a problem of choice arising. How it arising? Arising on account of the fact that resources are scarce and these have alternative uses. Now why economic problem arises? One more time we will discuss this. Human wants are, as you know that human wants are unlimited, but the resources to satisfy those wants are limited, and these resources have alternative uses. Very easy way this definition is given here. What? Human wants are unlimited. Day by day our wants are increasing, but the whatever the resources are available to satisfy our wants are in a limited quantity, and these resources have alternative uses also. Now resource scarcity gives a rise to the problem of choice among consumer, and they make rational choice to satisfy their demand. Either they want to drink coffee, or either they want to drink cold drink. Depend on this. So alternative uses are there to satisfy their demand, right? So limited scarce resources are there and unlimited wants and needs are there in the society. So the economic problem is to match limited resources to unlimited wants and needs. Now economy and its components, very important topics, right? Now what are the main three pillars of the economics? Now here three main pillars of the economics are production, consumption and distribution. So a system in which people get a living to satisfy their wants through the process of production, consumption, then investment and exchange. It has four components are there. Now which four components are there? First, production. It is defined as creation of utility. It is the process in which inputs are transformed to goods or services. Whatever the inputs, raw materials are there, which will be transformed through the manufacturing process to goods and services to satisfy the human wants. Now next, consumption. Next component is what? Consumption. It is defined as usage of goods and services. Now producer produces goods and services to satisfy human wants in the society. Now human being consume that goods to satisfy their needs, their demands. It is the process by which a good or a service is completely used up by the used up or consumed by the human being. Next is the investment. It is a part of production. which is committed for future income. Now, whatever the part left out with the people, they are ready to invest, or they want to invest this for their future use. So this part, what we are calling this investment for or future income. Now next, distribution. It is a part of production which explains how the national income is distributed among different factors of production. So this is very important one, that whatever the national income is there, how it is equally distributed among the different types of factors of production. So all these are the very important components of the economy. Now, factors of production. There are four main factors of productions are there: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. Now, first you see this land. Part of the income goes to the owner of land in the form of rent. Now, whatever the people are using land, against this they used to give rent to the owner of the land. Means they used to give rent to the landlord. Next, labor. Part of the income goes to the laborers for their services in the form of wages. So here, part of the income, whatever the production in the production process, the producer is earning. So the part, whatever he is earning of among that, the one part of the income goes to the laborers, those who are giving their services for the production process. In the form of wages, they are getting this. Next, capital. Part of the income goes to the owner of the capital in the form of interest. Now next, entrepreneur. Part of the income goes to the entrepreneurs in the form of profit. So like this, all these are the very important factors of production. Now basic economic activities, that is the, I told you, production, consumption, exchange and distribution. Right? So in detail we will discuss in this slide. Now production, the process producing goods and services to satisfy human needs. This process is known as the production or manufacturing process. Next is consumption. Consumption in economics, the using up of goods created by production through manufacturing process, through production process, whatever the goods are created that are used by the human being, consumed by the human being, what we are calling this consumption process. Consumption often is regarded by economists as the end of the productive process. This is the end of that productive process, the purpose for which all production is undertaken. In its broadest sense, the term includes both capital consumption or the using up of goods such as factory, machines and tools in the production of other goods, and non-productive consumption or the using up of goods for non-productive purposes. Economists generally prefer to restrict the term to non-productive consumption only. Now next is the distribution. The gross domestic product among the factor of production in the form of rent, wage, salaries, interest, etc. known as distribution. So how the producer is distributing the income what he earned, the gross domestic product whatever he earned among the factors of different factors of production in the form of how he will distribute rent, wages, salaries, interest, etc. All these are known as distribution. Now what is economy? It is a set of framework in which various economic activities take place called economy. So various economic activities take place to earn which are related to money. That type of activity is known as economic activities, and what we call this economy. So what is the meaning of statistics? It is the quantitative information of facts and findings. So in quantity we are getting information, right? That is known as statistics. Now what is the singular sense of statistics? So statistics may be defined as the collection, organization, presentation, analysis and interpretation of data. That means First we collect the data, then organize it, then we will present that data, analyze the data, and how to interpret that data. So whole this process is known as statistics. Now in a plural sense, statistics refer to information in terms of numbers or numerical data such as population statistics. So in statistics only quantitative facts are studied, not qualitative expressions. So here what we are getting conclusion of the meaning of statistics, hence this, that science statistics is the science in which we study different method of quantitative analysis is known as statistics. So I hope you all are getting this, the meaning of statistics. So till that, for today's session, whatever the remaining part of the chapter, we will discuss in our next session. Till that, goodbye, take care.